Hello everybody, and welcome to another game news roundup. I probably should have recorded at least the first part of this a few days ago when this first dropped on Friday, I want to say. Late Thursday, early Friday, or sometime during the day on Friday. I honestly don't exactly remember. I was busy all weekend, so I haven't had the chance. But here we are. Also, I'm live streaming this on Twitch. If you want to catch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/TrunksWD, where I go over gaming news, and I just play games for fun. But anyway, so yeah, I'm sure most of you have heard the situation going on with Helldivers 2 on PC. Let's just backtrack to whatever, late Thursday, Friday. So yeah, PlayStation announced that PC players of Helldivers 2, specifically PC players of Helldivers 2, which is available on Steam, will be required to link to a PlayStation Network account in the coming days and weeks. And I was like, let's write a news about this. This is fine. Whatever. This, to me, didn't seem like such a big deal because so many games require you to link your account, whether it's like Ubisoft or I think EA requires. I know some Xbox games on Steam require you to link to your Xbox account, but usually those games do it at launch. And there's a bunch of other issues with this, but let's just go into this. So yeah, the plan was originally new Helldivers 2 players on Steam would be required to link to a PSN account starting would have been today, May 6th, while current players will see a mandatory login starting on May 30th at the end of the month, and be required to have linked their Steam account to a PSN account by June 4th. Otherwise, they would no longer be able to play the game. Apparently, this was going to be available. This was going to be required at launch, but they delayed it. Due to technical issues at the launch of Helldivers 2, we allowed the linking requirements for Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network account to be temporarily optional. That grace period will now expire. Account linking plays a critical role in protecting our players, upholding the values, and all that stuff. All right, and I wrote that. They've actually now deleted the tweet. This is why it's broken here. But yeah, Helldivers 2 came out on February 8th. This was announced on May 3rd, so you're talking March, April, May. Nearly 3 months later, they make this change. Which to me, again, not a big deal. I have games where I link to the Xbox account, or even some Ubisoft games with whatever the Ubisoft services are called and whatnot. It's like, alright, whatever. However, yeah, a lot of players were unhappy. Very, very unhappy. Yeah. So yeah, following the announcement, I wrote this, I ended up writing this yesterday, so a couple of days of a few negative reviews. There were a backlash from PC players with around 200,000 negative reviews on Steam in the last few days of me writing this yesterday, and obviously, I think it ballooned to like 250,000 negative reviews of people complaining. One of the issues with the PSN requirement is there are a number of countries that have had Helldivers 2 available to purchase on Steam that do not have PSN available. So there are some people who lived in a country where they couldn't actually make a PlayStation Network account. Well, technically, they could just make an account from another country and yada yada. And usually, that's not a big deal. But that is technically against the terms of service of making a PlayStation Network account in a country you don't actually live in. But yeah, and interesting enough, Valve has been issuing refunds to players with hundreds of hours played. And despite the fact refunds usually require you to have played less than 2 hours. Mainly because of people living outside of those countries. So yeah, Steam database reported Helldivers 2 is no longer purchasable in 177 countries where PSN is not available, though it is still available in some like the Baltics. And then the CEO of the developer, Arrowhead Games, did issue a statement on Twitter, basically saying, "We are talking solutions with PlayStation, especially for non-PSN countries. Your voice has been heard, and I'm doing everything I can to speak for the community, but I don't have the final say," referring to the final say being on PlayStation or Sony. And they added, "I do have a part to play. I am not blameless in all of this. It was my decision to disable account linking at launch so that players could play the game." I guess they were having some issues at launch, which is why they didn't require it at launch. "I did not ensure players were aware of the requirement and didn't talk about it enough. We knew for about 6 months before launch that it would be mandatory for online PlayStation titles." Yeah, but they didn't really make players that aware that they were going to be forced to. And yeah, again, here from SteamDB, the tweet, Helldivers is no longer purchasable in 177 countries. The game has received 215,000 negative reviews, and specifically, we can go to this afterwards, you can see, wow, why are there positive reviews? Well, if you're probably well aware, PlayStation says Helldivers 2. This was at midnight last night, midnight Eastern. Monday, I guess, or 9 p.m. Sunday night if you're the Pacific Coast, or like 5 p.m. UK time, I believe, right? Yeah, midnight. They've issued a statement. Following lots of backlash, Helldivers fans, we've heard your feedback on the Helldivers 2 account linking update. The May 6th update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning May 30th, will not be moving forward. This is all following a lot of backlash. I'm sure a lot of people were getting refunds. The player count had, I'm fairly certain, dipped quite a bit, especially for the fact that it was a weekend. And they also said, we're still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll continue updated on future plans. Hopefully this hasn't hurt the game that much, especially for the developers Arrowhead, considering this was not their decision initially. But at least Sony has listened and rolled back. But of course, how much is this going to hurt their future games? If Steam players going to be worried, be like, I don't know, they're going to have issues potentially about buying PlayStation games in the future. And another thing of note, developer Sucker Punch Productions, developers of Ghost of Tsushima, which the director's cut is coming to PC on May 16th. They issued a little statement. Basically saying a PlayStation Network account, while it is required in order to play the Legends Online multiplayer mode, and obviously to access to the new PlayStation overlay, which is coming to the game, which makes sense, I guess, for the multiplayer mode. At least it'll be on day one. They're letting people know. Of course, we'll see if they do any changes with this following the Sony changing course with Helldivers 2. We'll see. But they also did say, Sucker Punch did say, you do not need to link to a PlayStation Network account if you're just going to play the single-player mode, single-player game campaign of Ghost of Tsushima's director's cut. So if you're just planning on playing the campaign, the single-player mode, you are fine. You don't have to worry about linking to a PlayStation Network account. And obviously, any other previously released PlayStation games on PC do not require a PlayStation Network account. And obviously, you look here at the reviews, and 219,000 negative reviews since May 2nd. But since, obviously, they made their change here today, a lot of people, I'm assuming these are people who had negative reviews, have changed their reviews from negative to positive. So there's now been 58,538 positive reviews as of the time of, this recording, which is 7:30 p.m. Eastern, if you're wondering. Which I'm sure that number will continue. You see the negative review amount of negative reviews probably drop. So yeah. A lot of people saying democracy has prevailed. Helldivers have secured the headquarters, attention Helldivers. People saying they're happy now. The changes, they don't have to worry about it. Saying, basically they won with the amount of negative reviews, and now Sony's like, all right, so they backtrack. So I'm glad that they listened to the players for sure. And hopefully this is a lesson learned for the future. Obviously, again, as I've mentioned, me, initially when I wrote this, the initial, they're going to acquire, okay, whatever. And me not thinking, oh yeah, it was available in countries where PlayStation Network is not available, and this is being after launch. But at least Sony has listened, and hopefully this doesn't completely screw over Sony's PC plans as they continue to release more and more of the games on PC, because Helldivers 2 was the first day-and-date game they released on PC, and obviously it was a huge success. And I believe the game has actually sold better, at least in the US, it sold better on PC than it actually has on PlayStation 5. But of course, mind you, PC is actually a bigger market. PC gaming is bigger than console gaming. And of course, mobile gaming is bigger than the other two combined, if I remember correctly. So, anyways, I just wanted to go over that really quickly of all of that news with Helldivers 2, if anyone was curious about what was going on, if you saw something in the news. Just a quick overview of what happened when they announced it, and obviously the backlash, the developers talking to Sony, and then obviously Sony backtracking, and then Ghost of Tsushima developer coming out saying, yeah, no, it's not required for the campaign. You're good. When that does come to PC. So, anyways, if you enjoyed this little video, as always, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time for some more gaming news, gaming sales, and other gaming industry information as it becomes available. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you all next time.